I made a decision on which laptop I'm keeping. To recap, I wasn't sure which computer I wanted to go with, so I got a MacBook Pro and an ASUS computer. Run through the pros and cons of each. The ASUS computer, I really like the white keys, and I also love the fact that you could change the backlight of the keys. Next is that I don't have an iPhone and I have a Samsung phone, so the fact that I could use Phone Link and link everything from my phone here. This is also lighter, so it's not as heavy. It has a lot of ports. The MacBook doesn't have as many ports. I am used to using Windows computers, so that's nothing that I had to adjust to. The trackpad is easier to click also. A lot of people were commenting on the fan speed. Yes, it does get somewhat loud if you're running a lot of things. You're able to change the fan speed. So when I had it on Ego and I decreased everything here, literally I did not hear the fan at all, but it does get warm and you can tell this is where the air from the fan is coming out of, and you feel all that. Look at the difference. All those vents versus this is just on the side. Basic things also is just the fact when you click something, you click it again to minimize it. For some reason, the Mac, you can't do that. The fact that it has a backspace and delete button, the control button on a Windows computer on the very left side, versus the command button that's on the MacBook is right next to the spacebar, which I have to get used to because I'm used to clicking over here to copy and paste. Moving on to the MacBook, look how pretty I made that background versus the Windows laptop. I think there's a way that you can do it, but it wasn't as pretty as this. This has facial recognition, but I prefer fingerprint. Also, I feel like the trackpad has a lot of options on the MacBook. Like you're able to change it to the 3-finger drag. So if I use 3 fingers, I'm able to drag this anywhere. Things I still have to get used to, like the fact that you click here and everything goes to the side. I don't know what that's called still. I was trying to look it up and figure out what that meant. Something I'm not a huge fan of on the MacBook is when you open Chrome, for example, and you go full screen, you're not able to just click over here to minimize because technically there's no minimizing in full screen. So you have to exit the full screen and then minimize. If someone knows a quick way to minimize out of full screen, let me know. For the MacBook, I only got it in 512 gigabytes because I could just use external storage versus the Asus computer's 2 terabytes, and it's still cheaper than the MacBook. Overall though, they perform very similar to each other. Like they both work great. The number one thing I like about the MacBook is the battery life. I could use this all day long and not have to charge it once. Versus the Asus computer, I had to charge it so many times and it drains battery literally like 1% per minute. It's crazy. If you can't already tell, the one that I'm keeping is the MacBook. And the reason is because of the battery life. Like, why have a laptop if I have to constantly keep it on the charger? So now I'm officially a MacBook user. And I'll be returning the Asus, so I just need to reset it and back it up to return.